Welcome to the Green Wasp Removal YouTube channel. In this episode, we continue training and mentoring the Manchester University Wasp Team as we take on a very busy, very aggressive Eastern Yellowjacket nest. This is Venom Immunotherapy, one of the beneficial natives in this area, but as you can see here, they are extremely aggressive and they come out to fight hard and sting immediately whenever their nest is disturbed. And it's our job to disturb that nest, get them out of the ground, and stimulate an attack response so that we can get them collected for venom immunotherapy. We'll also show you how these wasps are amazing engineers and they work so well together to expand their nest, remove roots that are in the way, and we'll show you how they excavate amazing amounts of dirt. For insects of their size, they can remove huge amounts of dirt, just one little load at a time. We'll show you the process of how we dig out the brood comb very carefully and we put it into a temporary transport container so that we can take it back to the vespiary where it can be incubated. And the reason we do this is because all of the white silk cap pupae that you see on these brood combs can be hatched out. And once they hatch out as adult wasps, we can collect them again for venom immunotherapy. There's so much life inside these nests. We make every effort to make sure none of this nest goes to waste. We'll show you how we identify and capture the queen so that she can be transported with her brood back to our vespiary. This gives the nest the best chance of functioning normally in the free-range vespiary environment. We're also going to show you, as you see here, how we prepare from a safety protocol standpoint to take a ground nest out of the environment. We're very careful with taping the ankles of the operators, checking our suits, checking our veils, and we're going to show you why. If you look carefully here, during the removal, there's wasps all over the shoe of this operator, and she's trying to scrape them off because they're attempting to crawl into her suit. But they're unable to because of the tape. Here she's scraping them off of her legs. They're attached with their mandibles. Here's another one attached to the veil with its mandibles. It is difficult to remove them. They hang on very tightly with their mandibles while they try to sting their way through the veil. So we're going to show you exactly how we prepare through safety protocols for this type of environment. We're also going to show you how after we remove the brood comb, we do follow up on the nest by collecting more of the foragers as they return to the former nest site. You can see here the nest has been removed, but there's still a lot of activity coming back from the environment as the wasps return looking for their home. We collect them all. We'll show you how we get the wasps prepared for freezing, which preserves their venom for venom immunotherapy. These are very large collections typically, and what we have to do is freeze them immediately before they overheat or run out of oxygen inside the collection device. So we'll take you through the entire flash freezing process in the field. Venom preservation by flash freezing is one of the more important parts of the job that we do. Next, we're going to show you exactly what it looks like when we take the brood comb back to the vespiary. And a vespiary is just a place where you raise wasps. Like an apiary is where you raise honeybees, a vespiary is where you raise wasps. You're going to see how the team wraps up the nest inside a cardboard box which simulates the paper envelope that used to be around it underground, and we put it into one of our incubation habitats, and these are set up to be a free-range system where the wasps can come and go from a hole in the side of it as they forage normally, and hopefully with the queen on board they can just continue with the normal development of the nest. We'll show you what it looks like a few days later when we start doing collections from this incubation box. As you can see here, these incubation systems really produce a lot more workers from all that brood comb. And as we collect for venom immunotherapy purposes, the more wasps we can incubate out of every single nest, the better. That's it for the episode preview. Now let's take you back to August 11th, 2025, and we're going to show you the entire job from start to finish. Thanks for riding along with us. If you enjoy the content on our channel, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment to let us know you're there. All right, it's August 11th, 2025. We have Coco and Colleen from the Manchester University Wasp Team today, and today we are going after a ground nest, Eastern Yellowjackets, Venom Immunotherapy. So let's check out your ankles. See what we've done here is tape up the ankles on these suits, and the thing about that is if you don't tape these, then they will walk right up the seam in your leg and sting your leg and get into your suit. We don't want that. Ground nests are notorious for that. That's why we have extra protection today. I'm going to designate Colleen as team lead today. Let's walk through some very careful safety checks check veils, check zippers, check everything, because this is going to be a battle. So when we do our safety protocols, Colleen is checking the seams on suits. She's checking the veil for any holes or tears. She's checking zippers to make sure everything is extra secure and everybody's closed off, because Vespula maculifrons, Eastern Yellowjackets, they react like killer bees. They are the killer bees of the wasp world, and they'll come out swinging. So they will definitely get you if you have any way into your suit. So make sure you check each other real well today. Make sure your gloves have good seams. I found a split on the side of my hand on one of my gloves after I washed them. They shrunk a little bit and they busted open.
Yeah, I brought another pair of gloves today.
Yeah, be careful. You got extra gloves. It's a good time to put them on.
Yeah. The other day when there were a bunch of them hanging on my glove and you can just feel it vibrating. It's
yeah.
unsettling, and the gloves feel thin at that point.
They do for sure, when there's like 50 wasps stinging their way through them. So yeah. Especially when it gets real hot later in the day, man, it's going to be sweaty, and as soon as the gloves start to get sweaty, they get real soft, and stingers get through them. Front zips are good. Front flaps, everybody's good? Okay. All right, signed off. Now is just walk the nest a little bit and observe it before we disturb it. The amazing thing about Vespula maculifrons is how well they can dig. They are tiny little wasps, yet they can dig so much dirt out of these holes that they can move the amount of earth equivalent to the size of a basketball easily, one little load at a time. So what we're going to do is just watch them for a second. You'll see as they fly out, many of them have dirt in their mandibles because they're taking little chunks out as they dig out their nest. Here we're going to freeze the frame for you for just a minute. Take a look at the wasp in the red circle. It's carrying a big ball of dirt in its mandibles that it just dug out of the ground. And they will do this over and over and over again until they expand out that nest to the size they want it to be. So the cavity space has to grow to allow the nest to grow. So they just keep digging that cavity space out, one little piece of dirt at a time. The ones flying in are bringing in water or nectar or hunted insects, and the ones flying out are removing dirt and debris as they expand their nest underground. And there's other foragers going out. So Coco and Colleen are rigging an L-joint here, and what this does is it takes the pressure off one of the pipes when we have it on the ground. It also allows us to add this one piece of pipe here that has perforations on it. And the reason that it's perforated is that we can adjust the pressure on the vac through that pipe, because this one is not an adjustable pressure vac. So we can add tape or remove tape to these holes, and that allows us to just have more or less vacuum pressure. And we like these long hoses and long poles when we deal with maculifrons especially, because as the pheromone comes down these long pipes, it comes out the vent on the vac. The wasps can smell that pheromone, and they will hover around the vac instead of going to the collection bottle. So we have to separate the vac as far as possible from the nest itself at the collection point. That makes it more efficient, and it basically forces them to attack the collection bottle instead of hanging out over here where their pheromone is venting. And that makes everything a little bit more efficient. So we're rigging 2 vacs today because once we get moving on the population reduction, it'll just be more efficient to have 2 vacs running at once. But we're going to start with the long pole just to get them stirred up and on the way. Least amount of tape possible is the way to go. There you go. Let's give you guys a couple of spouts. Here's one for that one. And left pocket those caps so we don't lose them. We always take these caps and we put them in our left pocket because in the field, if there's a regimented way of doing things, you never have to wonder where something is. If we suddenly lose power on a vac, for example, and we have to cap it off all of a sudden so they don't fly out, everyone always knows, boom, left pocket, that's where we find our cap every time. And we try to do that with just about everything we do. Everything's got a place, everything has a purpose, and everybody knows where things are. This one you don't have to tape off. The other one probably you will. Let me give you the, save that tape. Let me give you that short piece of hose, which is in the other bucket. Okay, so for vac pressure, what we talk about with vac pressure is always, we cannot beat these wasps up. If they're circulating around in there and they can't latch on to the inner shaft or the interior of the bottle itself, if they can't walk around and latch onto those things, then it's too high and the pressure has to be reduced. So the first thing we're gonna do is collect a few at the pressure it's set at now with minimal tape on these and just see if it's the right pressure for maculifrons. Some wasps hang on better than others, so you never really know. You kind of have to adjust a little bit. So I'm gonna start up the vac and then Colleen will place it down and we'll see what the first initial collection does to the wasp and we'll just check pressure. Let's untangle these a little bit. Make sure we have a good straight hose and we'll be back as far as we can. Let's extend that pole to the max. Get it away from the nest as much as we can. That's pretty good right there, probably. Okay, I'm gonna turn it on and we'll place it. So let's just get a couple collected and watch what happens to them. That looks pretty good. They're going in, they're getting collected. Look at this group right here that's chewing on this root. That's how they expand the entrance of the nest. They're all ganged up and chewing on that root to expand it. They're gonna chew right through that eventually and make an even bigger hole. And most of these holes that they're in here are former rodent holes or root tunnels that they've expanded out. But you see them digging like crazy. This looks pretty good to me as far as pressure goes. I'm wondering if we could even increase it a little bit. I might have it angled down. Let's get to the far end of the pole and we'll angle it down a little bit. Look at the group effort to remove this root. They know it's in the way of their flight path, so they're chewing like crazy to get through that root so that it doesn't block their flight path. It's amazing cooperative work. These hive mind insects really are something else when it comes to engineering and efficiency. So what we're trying to do is leave the hole open so they can visually orient on their hole, but we definitely want to intervene with their flight path so we can collect them pretty efficiently. And they're already going after my gloves just by approaching. I'm not even messing with the nest yet. So get ready, they're gonna be fierce when they come out. But this looks pretty good to me. You see how the pressure is? They're getting inside, but they're not getting knocked around too bad. They can actually fly a little bit, they can land, they can walk. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so that looks pretty good. All right, Coco, grab one of the shovels. Grab the only shovel, I guess, that I brought today. We're gonna get ready for an explosion, but first let me take my anchors up.
Okay.
So in this clip, you can see these two wasps in the foreground chewing away this root that's in the way of the flight path of their entry hole. They're in the process of expanding their nest, and therefore they know they have to expand their entry hole, and they just literally chew away anything in the way of that hole. I've seen them chew away large pieces of plastic that were covering their hole. It doesn't matter what it is, they're going to move it, they're going to chew it up and get rid of it. What we're going to do is put a extra layer of tape around the gloves that have open, no elastic. And that allows us to have a little extra protection here in our second layer of gloves, and it won't let them climb down in and get you. Okay. Pull your sleeve up and smooth it out a little bit. There you go. So we put these on, we don't do them tightly. It's just to make contact with this. And the reason for that is you don't want to cut off your circulation. Is that comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. And you use the least amount of tape possible. In an emergency, if you have to get them off, you got to get them off fast. So you don't want a lot of tape. See how awkward it is? Even just with my second pair of gloves, you can barely get the tape rolling. So that's what I mean about when you have to get out of them fast, you want to set yourself up with that idea. Because sometimes you just need to get out of them as much as you need to protect yourself. I don't think anybody's getting in there.
Yeah.
Okay, looks pretty good, thanks. Now I'm gonna do mine. Coco's got a shovel here, and the reason we have that right now, we're not gonna dig yet. What we're gonna do is we're gonna agitate the nest. And by that, I mean we're gonna whack that shovel down on the ground between the tree and the spout. Not yet. Okay. Let me set the camera. But that's the purpose for this. We're gonna agitate the nest, and what you will see is they will come flying out of here. So as soon as you whack that a few times and the flood starts happening where they're coming out, we back off to about where the street is or the alley, and that way they'll attack this bottle instead of us, okay? You ready? Everybody taped and good?
Yep.
Okay. I'll tell you when to start. That gives us pretty good focus. This looks good. I think so far the pressure's working fine. We're getting enough collected without beating them up. So let's hit it. Give a real good wax, real heavy wax. There you go. Here they come. All right, that's good. Let's step back. So we're stimulating an attack response here to get them all to come pouring out of the nest. This is what we mean by the killer bee response. Once that alarm pheromone goes out, it goes out to the whole nest, and basically every able-bodied worker comes pouring out of that nest, ready to sting, ready to attack, and each one of these wasps can attack and sting a human being multiple times, not just once like a honeybee or a killer bee. It can attack you many times each wasp, so it can be very dangerous, especially to anybody with venom sensitivity, venom allergies, or just generally small of body, children or elderly, anybody's infirm. It just can be deadly, so you have to be really careful when you do your lawn work, when you do gardening, to just inspect your land before you get that work done, so that you can just decide whether or not you have any traffic coming to and fro a hole in the ground. Is there any wasp traffic coming and going? Look for that before you start work. So we first started stimulating the nest through banging a shovel on the ground over a minute ago, and they're still coming out. They're still coming out to fight. Even though the threat was only a brief period of time, a few seconds, we whacked the nest, and then we went far away, back toward the driveway, which is a good 20 feet away. They're still coming out to fight after a minute and a half. And we're just going to let you watch here in real time how many of them keep coming out of the nest. There are some coming in, foragers, but there's a lot of outbound traffic still because of that initial alarm pheromone that went out. That's fine. So right now, let him go. There's still... Look at him going after just the fuck of these. Let's come right up close to him. Go back here. That looks good. Let's leave it right there.
Okay. You think it's getting too much dirt or?
It's okay. For now it'll work, I think.
Yeah.
You just want another one sucking them up. And check the pressure on it. Make sure they're not getting too beat up whenever you get some in there. If it looks too high, we can lower it. What you want to see is that they can walk around in there like this and not just constantly be knocked around.
They don't look like they have too much stability. It looks like they're kind of bounce
Okay, go ahead and lower the pressure just a little. Yeah, maybe raise, well, that's okay. Yeah, I guess they're going in. I'd like to see it collect them a little more quickly, but it's not bad. And look how many we already have in there. That initial attack, most of them are already contained. All right, let's get that shovel again. Okay, go for it. Good. Let me see on this side. Okay, let's give them a few minutes. As you can see, we're standing back from this crazy tornado of wasps, and the back way over here, you see how the vent is right here. It's venting that pheromone way over here, but we're not getting a big swarm over here because we extended the pole and the hose way out there. They are still aggressive at this distance. You can see them here stuck in the glove, but there's no major swarm. So that's what we're trying to do, is just control the swarm and keep it concentrated on the bottles. Let's do another whack. That's good. Yeah, you see how they're hitting these bottles hard, but they're not going real far out. That means we're doing a good job of separation. Go ahead and keep going. A little bit all the way around. Anybody know if this is poison ivy?
That is not. Creeping Jenny, which is still sometimes.
Any of this?
That is poison ivy. This small stuff, yeah.
This is?
Yeah.
All right, watch yourself. Let's not hit anything over here that's poison ivy.
Okay.
Watch your boots. Any of this?
Yeah, those, I think.
Okay, let's just stay out of this mess then.
Yeah.
We're okay here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what you don't want is all that oil all over your tools. Otherwise, as soon as you get your gloves off, you're going to get it all over you. It'll be leaves of 3, clusters of 3 leaves. So anything you see with 3 on it.
Jagged edge and a red in the center.
Hey, look at this. They come over here because they visually orient. They're like, hey, what's all that stuff? That's not my house. Maybe this is my house. So they come over here and they look at the holes. All right, we'll give it another whack here, and then we'll back off for a few. I think we got most of the initial attackers.
Yeah.
But we'll give it a few minutes, collect a few more foragers, then we'll do the dig. All right. Whenever we approach, we end up with these little attackers in our gloves, especially any gloves that have been used. Now here's a perfect example of the disemboweling. This wasp just killed herself and she left her innards on the glove. The venom sac, her intestinal tract, whatever it is. So this one, try to flick her away, help her get her stinger out without dying. So take this tool and just sort of help her push that stinger out. She'll go away maybe. Oh, she died. Okay, let's try this one. Try to flick her out of there without seeing her kill herself. There you go, she made it. You get her out of there. So that's what you want to do, is kind of flick them off. And typically, eventually, if you're far enough away, they'll go bad. Rather than...
How long can they fly around without it before they die?
I don't know, it's a good question, but I think it's just a matter of minutes. Because I've seen them kind of dead, laying around places where we've been working before, and I assume those are the ones who had the early attacks and dropped their venom sac. How we doing? Good?
Good.
So
These
far,
gloves are brand new. They don't have any pheromones on them yet.
Yeah,
so
they're not getting nailed, huh? That's
they
great.
haven't been hit yet, but I'm
All
sure
right.
they will.
So we're good, huh? Everybody's not stung and feeling well protected.
Yep.
Okay. So let's take a look at our swarm, see how we're doing. Yeah, great collection. Everything looks good for pressure. It's a little hard to see in this one, but I think it's okay. Yeah, they're walking around with no problem. All right, let's get the root cutters out, and let's get a couple of trowels out. All those should be right in here. Is the root cutters in there, the green handle?
Yeah.
Okay, good, we'll need those. Right in this section, maybe there's no poison ivy. We're going to remove the root at the widest point possible to get that out of our way. Because what they do is they use the roots as support for their nest. If they're too hard for you to cut, I'll take care of it. Great. You know what, as we dig, all the dirt we get, I don't want to put it in poison ivy that was scraped off.
Should we empty?
I'm going to put it over here.
Yeah.
And then we'll dump it back in. Just pull these back for now. Turn your spouts up so you don't collect any dirt. Get them out of the way. Once they're out of your way, we're going to put the hose, make sure it's not landing on the ground to suck up dirt. Now what we're going to do, find where the hole is, and just take a little slice out of where the hole is, and follow it with your finger to figure out where it ends up. Do a slice like this. Yeah, look, they have another door here, it looks like. So, slice it vertically down first, like that. And you pull it back, and you look for that tunnel. And then you find if there's a hole here. There's a hole there for sure. So feel around till you find a hole. You got it there? Okay, looks good. You get your thumb. Back up a little bit. Let's take another slice, see where that hole goes. There you go. All right, let's hold up. So, we have discovered the nest. Wasn't quite as deep as we thought it might be. Now, let's get the bin. Every part of the nest you can find, I'm going to put in here. What we're going to do is gently shake this off and try to get the whole nest out at once. Because what we want to do is capture the queen within the layers of the nest if we can. And get her right in here. So it's a little easier to do if you can remove a lot of the dirt around the nest first.
We clearly did a good job with the collections.
I agree, so
Because
far.
there's not a swarm once we expose the nest.
Yeah, it's good. Real gentle. Looking for the queen the whole time. She's going to be a big wasp. Much bigger than the workers. So you'll see her if she runs. And be gentle, we don't want to kill her. If you got a piece of nest, throw it right in the bin. Okay. Go ahead and try to lift that out with your hands. Shake off some of the dirt. Shake it off, flip it over. Good. Drop it in. Now we do the same thing with each layer. Find that layer, pull it out gently, looking for the queen. Shake it off. Good. Got it. Let's cut some roots. Can you get in there? Okay, there you go. Try to lift that right out with your hands and drop it right in the bin. Shake off that dirt before you put it in the bin if you can. I mean, lift it out whenever you can get to it.
I can't
The
really.
roots might be sticking.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There you go, nice.
wow.
Drop it right in. We'll check for the queen there in a second, but she's probably down here in the bottom.
Not too bad though.
If you want to shake off, go ahead. Okay, so now what we're looking for is a queen. So we're going to scoop this out and sort of sift it. Look for that large wasp. She's a runner. She'll run like crazy. Let's get that in the bin, and this in the bin. Any nest parts we'll put in the bin. Just a comb. Okay. So we're lifting out scoops at a time, hoping we'll find the queen. I'm gonna let you film. Here's the two. Watch poison ivy. See any big ones? Not yet. This cavity goes way under here. Most of my hand fits under it that way.
Wow.
I mean, it's the size of a soccer ball easy all the way around as far as volume. So I'm under here feeling for holes and cavities they could be hiding in. Because the queens are notorious for running to the deepest hole and digging really fast to get away from us. All right, I don't see a queen in that grouping, so doesn't mean she's not down there, but for now we're gonna hope she's in here. So let's take a look and do a little queen hunt. What we're gonna do is open this up, and what we're gonna do then is slip this in between the layers of the nest and gently peel them back, looking for the queen. You ready?
Yeah.
So slip under this one first, gently peel it back, look for that queen. She tends to hide under the layers. Gently peel that one back. I don't see her. Not yet. All right, so these are the ones we can incubate back at the barn lab. And so all of these pupae and all of these larvae, there's still hundreds and hundreds of wasps.
You got her?
I saw a big one crawl on you, James.
Oh, great.
I don't know where she went. She was just right here.
Great. You found her.
Now where did she
I don't think she got out.
go? Wait,
There
right
she
there, right
is.
there.
Good eyes.
Yep, nice.
That's our queen. Good eyes, Coco. Here,
Yes.
let's show you that queen up close.
There we go.
Here we'll freeze the frame for you for just a second to show you the queen. She's quite large compared to the rest of the wasps in the nest. So they hide in every little nook and cranny. You got her?
Yep, much bigger.
Yeah, she's much easier to see. We're just going to let these run for a little bit.
Step back.
Let's step back. Looks pretty good. I don't see anything on you guys.
Yeah.
Some of them are getting stuck like head first.
They're trying to climb up Coco's boot in here, but she's
Yep,
got no
look at 'em.
seams. It's closed off. They're not going to find anything. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't mess around, man. They know what they're doing. They're already stinging and clamping onto the soles even of your boots. So they're hanging on with their mandibles while they're trying to sting. And they will not let go. If I just keep banging at her, she will not let go. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
They're relentless. If this was a German Yellowjacket, she would have come up, turned around, and left. Maculifrons, the Eastern Yellowjackets, look at that. They are committed. So you literally have to pick them off. Thanks. All right, how are these guys doing? They look pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Nobody's overheating, except me.
Yeah.
All right, let's cap off what we have for specimens in this bottle. So you just bang them down a little bit, get them away from the spout, and then pull it and cap it. The vacuum should keep them inside. I'm gonna peek in there with this as well.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. That's what it looks like inside. Here, let's move the cap for a second. Nice, it's a good collection. Okay, cap it off. All right, now Colleen's gonna pop this one. With the gloves, it can be challenging. So sometimes if you have to just twist it off, that's fine. You twist it right off, it'll break the tape. There you go, you got it. Hopefully that'll still go on with all the tape. If not, no worries. Let's get a look in there. This one doesn't have quite as many, but there's a few. We'll get them frozen. Well, there's enough to freeze, that's for sure. All right. First ground nest of the day.
Woo!
Collected.
We did it.
Nice. All right, now we're gonna freeze our specimens, and there's a bunch of them. You guys did a great job on that nest. That is a lot of wasps. So these will be great for venom immunotherapy. So the first thing Colleen's doing here is she's removing all the insulation from the ice bin. And the reason we use this stuff is because you have to take away all of the air gap between the top of the ice bin and the ice, because otherwise it sublimates much faster. So we fill all that airspace with insulation. And then once we get that insulation out, she's going to scoop it all into this bucket as a temporary measure just to make room for our containers. And you can see with dry ice, there is no liquid form. It goes right from solid to gas. So this CO2 is the same gas that we exhale every time we breathe. But it goes right to gas. There's no liquid at all. There you go. Now put them side by side and get them covered in ice.
You want to do the cover?
Be careful with that bucket. It can be easy to drop. So cover them completely. And kind of smooth it over so there's a good layer on both of them. And then replace your insulation right on the top of it all. Replace all the insulation and you're good. All right, that'll do it. So lock them up tight with those latches. And now we're gonna go treat that nest with some essential oils. High and pull it down fast so that the spray will kind of nail them all while they're flying. Leave the fewest possible for the client to have to deal with. So Colleen is now applying some essential oil spray. Go right down there aggressively and just get them all. There you go. Good. Spray that dirt pile, spray the hole, spray the perimeter. What we're doing is we're knocking down their pheromone. So as more foragers come back that are out in the environment now, they'll come back looking for their house and they won't find it. Their pheromone's gone and they'll starve out. That's good. All right, so for now, let's reload some of the dirt. Why don't you grab that shovel and start pushing some of the dirt in, and then we'll hit it again.
Here, Coco, you can take a sprayer and I can do the
Watch your poison ivy stuff. Scoop some of that in, get a layer down in there, maybe half of it, and give it another spray. So we do it kind of spray in layers. You don't have to keep repumping, it'll be fine.
Go ahead. Give her a spritz.
There you go, just spray it down real well. Make sure you're not inhaling that, it's not healthy to breathe. It's not toxic, but you don't want to breathe oil anyway. There you go.
Man,
I think you put all the rest of it in.
We still have some in the bucket too.
That's good.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Once you get all the rest of that in, we'll spray it and then we'll dump the bucket. All right, give it another blast there. Get all those larvae covered up with oil. You know, try to push all that larva stuff down in there. We want anything with their pheromone on it away from the surface. There you go.
Oh yeah. There's a lot.
Any paper bits, any larvae.
Yeah.
There you go. Now let's dump this. You can dump it all right in there and then fill the hole and spray it again. All right, it looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna have you film this. So one thing we don't want to do is when we're done, we don't want to leave a trip hazard for anybody who might come over here. So we're going to bring in as much dirt as we can, try to eliminate any kind of hole that somebody could fall into by accident when they're over here weed whacking or something. We don't want to hurt anybody. So all this, we're going to just smooth it over so that it's kind of one relatively smooth spot. All right, let's hit that one more time, and that should do it. Do the whole perimeter. All that loose dirt that we stirred up, kind of hit all that stuff. Good. All right, cool. That'll do it. Now, once you get done with that, you vent it by pulling the red thing out. Keep your eyes away from that. You guys pumped that up, didn't you?
There were a lot of foragers flying around.
All right, so this thing goes in here, and that keeps it from flopping around inside the van. Okay, that is a wrap. So the team did an excellent job today. We nailed that one quickly. No stings, right?
Nope.
Our tape saved us. And just being careful about collecting as many as we can before we dig. So that worked out. You ready to do another one?
Yep.
Let's do it. So here you see the wasps, the ones that are the foragers. They come back and they cannot live here anymore. So they hover around, they look for their nest. It doesn't smell like their home anymore. And every time they land, they get covered in oil, and that causes them problems. So eventually the ones you see that are still alive starve out because they cannot survive without the nest to support them. So it takes a couple days, but they all die off. No poison required. Colleen and Coco are here, and they're going to transfer this nest, beautiful nest by the way, tons of pupating wasps that we're going to let continue with their nest development in a free-range environment here in the vespiary. So what we're going to do is have Coco open up this container and start putting the layers back together on this nest like we had found it. Smallest first and then to the biggest, and just lay it down into the corner. And then this is where they're going to live now, is in this box, which simulates the paper envelope on their nest that we had to remove when we dug it up. They will rebuild their paper, but in the meantime, this will protect them. Then we're going to put them in that vespiary incubation box, which is an old chest freezer. So let's work on that. Go for it. And be careful to not spill anything out on the ground. And work quickly as you can. There you go. Yeah, it broke up enough that it may be difficult to put the tiny ones in, but try to put them at sort of an angle as opposed to flat down. If you can get that kind of moved like this, here's what I'm getting at, kind of sort of upwards. You know what I mean? That makes a little less pressure on each face of the nest.
Do you want me to move that?
No, just drop them in there. Just drop them up just like that. It's perfect. So as you can see, without the crazy attack pheromone in the air, all these are pretty new wasps that have just pupated out. So they're a little mellow, they're staying on the nest, and they're not used to attacking and foraging yet. Most of them. They're still pretty new. There you go, just sort of stack them all. That's good. There you go, layer them all together. Basically, we're just rebuilding their nest in a way that makes them most comfortable. And that gives it the best chance to actually continue developing here in a semi-captive environment. And we say semi-captive because this is actually, yep, good. Then we know she's in the box and she's climbing right back into her nest. That's perfect. Hopefully she'll just keep moving on with this nest as the foragers come out. Because the queen is there, we are going to hope that the foragers will rally around her and continue going out to support the nest. But we collected most of the foragers, so that puts this nest behind the curve as far as what needs to be done. There she is, walking around, checking her nest out. She's like, things have changed, but I can work with this, she says, hopefully. All right, now that the rest are a little bit small to deal with, what you do is you take all of this, and they will clean this up on their own. I sort of put it all around the nest, because all that dirt and material is natural to them.
So is all the larvae going to be okay?
Yep, what they will do is they will collect it all. This larva can't survive, so what they're going to do is collect it, and if they don't eat it and share it as protein with the nest, they will remove it from the nest and fly it right out of there. Okay, so we know the queen is in, we know all of our layers are in, we have emptied everything out of the container. Now we close this up, so I'm going to have you film this. It's still rolling, and the way we close it is specific. You turn it all the way around, each flap comes down, and you leave one hole in the middle. Or sometimes I cut a hole in the box. If it's a paper bag, I roll it up like a paper bag and just ut a hole in the corner. That gives them that simulates their exit hole. But in a box, this will work. And then you take this and you bring it over here and you stack it. Now I've had several nests in here that I've just consolidated down into one because the queens died on a couple of them and the queen lived in the one, so I condensed them into one box. So what you're going to see in here is one box that has several nests right now and a live queen. And this nest is just about done. This was one of the first ones. You see how it's all pupated out? So that was successful. It worked. It pupated out, and I just collected on this yesterday. There was a whole bottle full I got out of it.
Nice.
So you see them down there. They congregate all around. See them on the edge? So they end up hanging out in here and free-ranging. So what we're going to do is take this one and stash it right here. And let that one just start doing its thing. And they will automatically find the light and start coming out of here. So this is where I collect now. And what I do is I'll open this thing up. I'll open up the box, stir up the box, get them all flying. They all come out and attack the hell out of me. And I've got millions of them on my gloves and on my tail. But then I come around here and they all immediately try to go back in and we collect them as they do that. Okay, so that's how this works. And what we'll do now is go get another ground nest. You guys have any questions on that process of how to deal with getting them boxed and incubated? All right, well, good. Let's get the next one. It's August 17th, 2025, and we're about to do a collection on our Eastern Yellowjacket, that's Vespiary Immunotherapy's incubation box. And as you can see, they have completely filled in the holes over here that were wire mesh, chicken wire inside. They filled it in with paper, and they're quite active here now. So we're going to start collecting today. So here's the collection for today from the vespiary incubation box. Maculifrons. It's been very productive so far, that incubation system. Working out pretty well. Once we get our specimens back to the barn lab from the incubation box collection, we just put them right in the cooler filled with dry ice. Just remove all of the insulation. Then we just make room for the container. Put your container in. Cover it completely with